What's good with the people? Do not be fooled. This is not a Trump hat. This is not a Trump hat. Research over me search. Consciously.com. But welcome to the Chop Up. I am Damo the Political Plug. Here on election night. Toya will be joining us soon. So y'all just chill, stay tuned till Toya pull up. But we got Emmanuel Briggs in the building. What's good, Emmanuel? And as y'all come in, y'all say what's up. You feel me? As we get into kind of like how we've made some leeway where we've gotten so far in this election. If we talk about it in terms of momentum, like I know we like to talk about elections in terms of sports and everything else. Trump got the momentum right now. If it worked like that. Now the kind of the amount of people that have voted, that's not gonna change. So like that's kind of already gonna be what it is. But if we looking at where Kamala is in this election, you will see that she's kind of like skirting by, but Trump seems to be overperforming and performing better in places like in Georgia, for example, that he performed last year. So if we go ahead and take a look and see where the map is right now, I know y'all been paying attention, so we all gonna get caught up together. If we take a look and see where the map is, where is it? See where the map is right now. Oh yeah, we got Toya joining us. Y'all give her a second as she get on up in here. But if you take a look and see where the map is right now, Trump is sitting at 210. Trump sitting at 210 to 113 for Kamala. He pretty much sweeping the South. And I think the news of the night is, hold on. Oh yeah, I think the news of the night is the fact that straight up Kamala is not doing well in Georgia, right? Kamala right now is underperforming in Georgia, and while Trump is overperforming. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good in that context. All right. Second, everything right now is pretty much left up to Pennsylvania, because if we go in like best case scenario for Donald Trump, what's looking like the best situation for him, Georgia, North Carolina, he's currently leading in, as y'all can see. He leading. He's 51.3 to 48 in Georgia, 50 to 48 in North Carolina, and 50 to 48 in Pennsylvania. If Trump sitting at 210, if he wins 1, 2, 3, that's the election. And currently, he looking like he leading those things. Toya G, what's good with you?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Toya, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Okay, bet. I gotta fix something with my headphones. Go ahead, hold it down real quick.
Ain't no hold it down. I'm out here actually just getting in from the gig. So shout out to Top Nation if y'all are in here watching along with these election results. I'm kind of trying to keep up and be keyed in with where kind of some of the central places are. I know a lot of people are waiting on California. We are here with another hour or so left at the polls for people to get out there and make it. I know Washington, as well as I want to say Oregon, or another one of these West Coast states that have a decent amount, can deliver up to like 74, votes or whatever. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'm very interested to see how the terrain is going to shift and shape. I'm very interested to know if it's going to come down to mail-in ballots, and to see, I'm curious to see if the race is going to be called this evening, and if it's just such a, so big of a blowout that it'll be irrelevant for us to even be concerned with what mail-in ballots have to say. But, I ain't gonna say it's still wide open. I know we've been watching with bated breath to kind of see how things are moving and shaking, but for right now,
good in that context.
All right. I'm on the edge of my seat with everybody else, just kind of getting in, getting situated, really just kind of getting set up. But I wanted to listen in just to see what y'all on the plug were talking about. So, Plug, can you hear me? Plug still working on his business, kind of getting stuff together. I'm curious. I guess I'm pulling up the chat now to hear about some of the conversations y'all have been having in your own circles about what people are doing tonight or tomorrow or how people are feeling. Like, so I know a lot of people, I've seen people, be like, I'm not watching that. I don't have it on. I'm not watching any election coverage. I'm taking shots. I'm watching the show. I'm entertaining myself some other way. And I come up, from my little hidey hole when y'all shit is over with. It's other people playing drinking games and, every state that he takes or she takes, whatever they taking shots, this and that, just kind of trying to drink their way through it. And then some folks just, sitting on the edge of their seat watching all of the, they on their Twitter timeline, you on your live feed of the map, you got whatever news station you got in the background, CNN, ABC, NBC, some independent source. So like, what are y'all doing for the night to kind of trying to bring things in? Peace to the chat too. Shout out to Hood, shout out to Emmanuel, shout out to everybody in here popping in with us tonight, just kind of rocking out and hanging out with us a little bit. But what y'all got going on? Because honestly, I just knew I was gonna be with the plug. That was me. But I didn't know, like, if I wanted to drink, I might, roll one something. I don't know, but that was gonna happen regardless. So like, I don't know what to think, and I'm trying not to be anxious because I feel like anxiety feeds into kind of what I already knew about this game that we play, about what the reality is, about how things are going. So I feel like my anxiety, I feel like kind of silly for having it, because I'm gonna do the same thing I did, during this last presidency when Joe Biden was doing weird shit. I'm gonna keep thugging. You know what I'm saying? Economy got weird. I'm gonna keep trying to figure out and connect these dots. She's not finna come in and say today. I'm well aware of that. You know what I'm saying? In terms of my real actual life, it'll just feel good, be a nice moment, and we'll hope for some positive products. So I'm not really bugging on that. Same thing with, Donald Trump when he won the first time. Like, I was shook for a little bit, and then after a while, we just kind of figured things out and lived our lives. But it did come at a cost. I won't say it was cheap. I won't say it was easy. I won't say it was free. To be so careless, to look away, to act like I didn't, wasn't affected. Like, I found myself the other day watching Black faith leaders on CNN. It was like, and I grew up in the church, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like both me and the plug at one point, fun fact about us both, we was probably on the fast track to the pulpit at one point in our lives, both. You know what I'm saying? On top of the fact that, I care about Black people, Black leaders, Black collectivizing, organizing. The Black church, you know what I'm saying, has been a cornerstone of how Black people have gotten together. So I watched all of my favorite Black preachers that I grew up listening to and grew up in my household and built my own adult relationship with when I was a whole lot more kind of invested in the machinations of the church. And what I walked away thinking, plug, watching them commercials?
What's that?
Damn, I wish this was real. Like, I was like, that was touching. Like, that was good. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the comm scholar in me. It's the, PR emphasized major in me. It is the person who's just interested in organizational fluidity and what leadership looks like and how leadership is communicated. I'm looking at all this stuff like, damn, this shit's so cool. I wish it was real. You know what I'm saying? So it's this really precarious position I put in, just kind of taking in all of this. But I'm trying to keep some distance between that and my reality, which is the fact that, what's gonna happen is gonna happen, regardless.
Yeah. And at the same time, I think in these types of moments is when we kind of got to deal with the Afro pessimist within us as it is. I mean, I think the older we get, the more our aspirations, begin to reflect more of the world we want to see. I think it's certain things that's just flat out disheartening. You know what I mean? And I think win or lose, the relationship that Black people have developed, that some Black people have developed with Donald Trump, I think is like really starting to reflect a move away from kind of revolutionary, pro-Black, like the real like self-love for Black people is kind of. It's going away, and I see the same thing for Latinos. Like, I think there is because I think at one point it was showing that Donald Trump was getting like 45% of the Latino vote. You feel me? And I think it's like, as people who kind of study society and like look at the trends and look at the ideologies and how those ideologies impact people, it's disheartening for somebody like Donald Trump to be viewed and seen and recognized as somebody that should be a leader, especially of people of color. Like think about it. How is it like what's happening in a world or in America where the Latino population is heavily invested in somebody who's running on deporting migrants, who's running on dehumanizing migrants, people that look like you, people that speak the language that you speak.
It's
Same thing can be
mind-boggling.
same thing can be said now. 45% of black people ain't voting for no damn Donald Trump. We don't like majority of black people heavily gonna vote for Kamala Harris. But even the following that Donald Trump has developed as a politician is even more dangerous than it was as a celebrity, because at least as a celebrity it's like, okay, that's a TV nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan as a TV person. As a politician, people look at this nigga as somebody that like they should learn from. They should emulate. They should follow. You feel me? That is extremely problematic. This is like, you know, if we take the Joker's popularity, like the villain, the Joker, we take their popularity and then be like, all right, now because you this popular in this arena, now let's put you in politics and allow that popularity to carry on with you, which encourages you to be the type of person that you are. It encourages the Joker to be more of the Joker. It encourages the villain to be more of a villain. And so it's like, because even, you know, if Trump lose, I don't see that relationship with whiteness, that attachment to white ideology going away. You know what I'm saying? I see, because as much as we like, it's only grown a little bit for black people, specifically black men. It's grown though.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, if you got a lump, and that motherfucker start out like this, and it get just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
That's something you got to pay attention to. You feel me?
Well,
That's something you got to analyze.
It's what they tell you to pay attention to moles when you get them. Don't just get them and be like, oh, well, cool. No, that thing can be cancerous and tumorous right before your very eyes, and you don't really have a notion of that unless you really paying attention to how it changes.
Yeah, so let's see.
You
Like let me check on this nigga Steve Kornacki, see what he talking about. The polls close out here out west in the next few minutes. So, you know, we know we got that coming in. But really, I'm keeping it a stack. All we watching right now is Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. That's it. That's the election.
That's the election.
That's the election. And that's currently what Donald Trump is winning. That's currently what Donald Trump is winning.
Pennsylvania. He's winning Pennsylvania too. I'm looking at the map.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
We ain't heard nothing about California, Oregon, Washington. So Oregon and Washington, I mean, they only.
Yeah, she gonna get all of that. They like we supposed to be getting results from them soon, and she gonna get all of that. But yeah, it's. I mean, so let me ask you this, Toya. Now that we actually seeing the results, it's playing out real time.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think, like, how much do you think people didn't like really didn't kind of just like look past when it comes to Donald Trump? Because it seemed to me with him overperforming in places like Georgia, North Carolina, I kind of give him that, but overperforming in Pennsylvania, yeah, it seems to me that like regardless of, even though I feel like Donald Trump became a worse candidate over the last 4 years, people, did they like him more?
I've been trying to understand what, for better or worse, has been different about this campaign. Has he been less likable? Was he less likable before? Was he that kind of? And I mean, obviously he won, so he was compelling to some people. But these same people, I won't even want to assume the same people won for him again. I definitely think he got some former Biden voters, as peculiar as that is to say out loud. And so, like, I have been in my mind trying to compare what's different, what's hitting like this. What's really sealing the deal for them, not just in terms of Donald Trump in general, but this go around with the convictions, with the, same cognitive issues they accused Joe Biden having, with the same, with just outwardly and more aggressively problematic takes, with not very compelling plans or arguments. I still don't know, outside of tariffs, what Donald Trump's real economic plan is. You know what I'm saying? Like I really like there's so much that is just kind of confusing about what's compelling this go around that I've been thinking about and trying to put my finger on too. Like what is the X factor outside of people, I guess, just being that sick of an immigration issue or that sick of what are some other major issues that he was running on? Like, I think he's been able to completely obfuscate and circumvent the conversation about Israel and Palestine and not be overly specific, which is strategic about how he feels about those things. That's going to be released anytime soon. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, very soon, rather, because we all know how he truly feels about Israel's, right and ability to be an independent nation and defend itself, et cetera, all those talking points. So I don't know. Like I scratched my head at it too. I don't think I've been able to really put my finger on what is so captivating, tantalizing this time, outside of who it is his opponent is. And it sucks because like we take for granted, the black woman criticism, but I really feel like we just not there yet. For as much as progress and change and this, that, and the other, the only thing that I can think of that can make people so diametrically opposed to voting for her or so willing to vote for him is that they're so diametrically opposed to voting for her. And some of it I think is maybe a her, capital H, her, like her and Kamala Harris, lowercase. The other side of me is like, this is a lowercase a, just standard issue with the issue or with grappling with, a woman in that position. So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to
That's
explain. It's hard to figure out. I can't put my finger on it.
yeah, that's it's interesting because I mean, even as we kind of look at because a lot of the states that was expected to lean Kamala haven't been called yet. I mean, which is a
Yeah.
problem in and of itself because that means the shit is too close. The shit that was supposed to lean Kamala is already too close. But when you look at the map, I mean, you literally it's all right here that Kamala need to win, and she is not winning it right now.
No.
She is not winning it right now. And I mean, and in Georgia, that's likely to be called soon because we looking at you know 90% reporting and still like 100,000 vote difference. You know what I mean?
The new
So like,
updated numbers I just saw, by the way, just saw updated pretty big uptick for Harris, 179 to 214. So
yeah. So
I feel like
California, they already called California. They got 0% reported in, but they already called California, and
California,
they
Washington,
yeah,
New
and they
Mexico was up there for to come in too.
yeah. And it's
Arizona
close,
was
and it's close, and with at 50%, it's close in Arizona. So she could get Arizona. It's a 0.2% difference. It's 3,000
mm-hmm.
votes with 50% reporting in. So she could get Arizona. That's possible. Now we look at what Minnesota. It ain't looking good for Minnesota and Wisconsin. That's 2 points. You know what I'm saying? In Michigan, that's about 4 points. So I mean, it's still early. It's like that's 27% reported in, and then Pennsylvania is 3 points. So pretty much what we've seen is the lead that Kamala had with the early voting. Donald Trump has made up with that significantly in person voting. You know what I mean? Now it's still you still got more of the urban areas whose numbers need to be coming in. Now in Georgia, that's it. That's it. I mean, I feel like they might be calling Georgia soon, so we should be on the lookout for that. But uh, when you North Carolina 86%, the question starts to become where's Kamala gonna pick up them votes, or is it enough for her to still pick up? And then it seemed like the lead in Pennsylvania for Donald Trump is growing. Now we can't be fooled because Donald Trump had a lead in Pennsylvania when we went to sleep in 2019 or 2020.
Hmm.
Because if you recall, Donald Trump pretty much like claimed victory the night before, and then that next morning when Georgia numbers rolled in, when Pennsylvania numbers rolled in, and it spiked because what before we start talking doom and gloom, let's do this. It's a such thing. It's called a red mirage and a blue wave. So
Mm-hmm.
typically, if you look at all of these states here, these red states here, especially in the middle, in these country ass places, because their population numbers aren't as high, it's easier for them to get their ballots in and get them vote. You know what I'm saying, and get them counted. Like it's
Mm.
not. It's the volume of ballots aren't to the point where it take forever for them to process their shit. Cause it's the country as hell. There ain't a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? And then even the more populated areas that they know go for Trump, like Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, like all of these types of places. Once you see that significant lead, you don't see that closing, right?
Mm.
Um so what the big question is, in what places are they gonna get enough of the urban vote, enough of the metropolitan vote to be able to make up these gaps? So
The
we
fundamental question.
we typically, you know what I'm saying, that Steve Kornacki, the man in the khakis, usually be cooking on that. So when he have his next update, we definitely gonna tap in. We definitely gonna tap in with Steve. But yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So
It's as close as people said. Now, I mean, look, it looked like Donald Trump might be running away with it. Might be running away with it, but you never know. What you was about to say though, to you?
so I guess the role of mail-in ballots largely inconsequential, not impactful enough to have to kind of wait, right? Because that's what I always kind of didn't understand. Like I just turned in my mail-in ballot yesterday, and I, of course, you know, had participated in down ballot races, and so those will be influenced. But I guess, what does it look like to call races before you are able to really collect and look at mail-in ballots, or are those just such a given? Like, what? How does that play out as a political plug? What's your take on how those numbers get calculated?
Well, it
Excuse
kind
me.
of what the thing about it is, because we've seen those certain type of ballots break a particular way. You kind of look at it as like you kind of look at it as a gauge for turnout, right? Like the amount of mail-in ballots, the amount of early ballots that you get. Because like your question is,
My question is, I just voted yesterday.
yeah,
The election is today.
yeah,
If I am allowed to vote in a presidential election, like obviously my ballot is going to influence down ballot things. But if I want my ballot to be counted in these numbers, and I'm looking at 45,632 versus 51,698,
yeah.
when am I present? When is my vote represented? Are mail-in ballots just so inconsequential that they don't tend to
Nah, it's
push?
represented earlier on. It's represented earlier, like the early voting
How?
and all of that.
If I just turned in my ballot yesterday, how is it represented earlier on? I think that's what I'm confused about. If my deadline to turn in my mail-in ballot or to drop it off at a ballot box in my neighborhood was yesterday, how have they already
If
accounted for
you
that?
well, if you just did it yesterday, then your ballot would be the I wake up when we wake up in the morning and see those totals, right? Because it's
Okay.
like that close to the deadline. It's like, all right, it's when we see those totals. The early,
So
like more so if you did it like a week ago, right? Your shit already reflected. You already in there.
and so they can't call the race. Like I guess that's what I'm confused about. How do they call
Nah, they
races
can they
under
can still
they're still
they can still call the races. I mean, because it's a few things that they could go on. They could go on what kind of like culturally how do these races tend to go. If they tend to follow the trends where we see 14, 15% gaps, then it's like we can go ahead and call that one, right? Like
mm,
that's what you see in California, right? You're gonna see large gaps early on in the California vote. So it's gonna be easy to be like, yeah, like with a gap that big, knowing Trump's popularity in this area, we can predict that a large portion of them votes aren't gonna come in later to make up for the gap that exists right now. When
huh.
you sitting at 2-3%, then you can it's like, okay, those gaps you can fill that in. 100,000 votes. You know what I mean, when it's 500, 600,000 votes still out there, all right, maybe you can grab that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Mm,
so
mm,
that's when it's like too close to call. If it's a certain amount of votes that's still out there, and the idea is that there's a possibility that there's enough votes that are out there that can fill that gap, then that's when we say it's too close. But if we
mm.
know that it's like this trend, this gap is only gonna get wider, and we seeing the gap get wider, then yeah, we can go ahead and call that right now.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Just want to
Yeah,
know where I feel.
yeah. So
Florida,
But
Florida.
how y'all feeling about the election though, man? How y'all like? What's y'all thoughts? I mean, I'm looking around. It's on some doom and gloom type shit. Like I'm interested to see what Fox News is over there looking like because I mean I know they was over on MSNBC and they cut to what's that? I think her name's Simone Sanders
Hmm.
and they was talking about the state of Georgia and it's like it don't look good. It don't look good.
I was in the
Uh,
car listening to NPR reports about kind of the vibe at campaign headquarters. I guess Trump's is down in Florida, and they said they in there turned up. They got the bar open, drinks is flowing, people are drunk, but they just generally, even the background sounded like it was a party and a celebration. People excited about the momentum. The other watch party is the Harris watch party up at Howard, in DC. And I guess the description or the way that it was characterized is real lively and kind of exciting and buzzy toward the beginning of it. A lot of people faced kind of forward um, toward the stage area, just kind of singing and songs playing, stuff like that, just really kind of pep rally vibes. And
yeah.
then over time, it switched, and the energy definitely got a little bit more tense, a little bit more, not tense in a bad way, but focused, right? Kind of remembering, I think, what you talked about in terms of uh, what is it, the blue wave versus the red what?
Red Mirage.
Red Mirage, and so kind of adjusting to those first numbers coming in and those smaller states like you talked about in their reporting, but still staying focused. So it's like, I guess, screens that surround what they call the yard, which is they quadded kind of public area where all of the like open space and buildings are, the courtyards and stuff like that, and that people are just kind of affixed to screens, watching, taking in, some teetering on a little bit of frustration, but mostly just people intensely watching and trying to remember that all along we knew it was supposed to be close, or it was going to be close, or the anticipation wasn't being close. So a lot of people are, being reserved in their frustration and anxiety, but also still kind of slowly but surely in other ways demonstrating that it's a very real and palpable thing. So, um, interesting vibes in terms of the headquarters. I think now that it's what you said, I thought it was 9 p.m. where the polls closed out here in California. It's 8. It was 8. Is that
Uh,
correct?
no. You might be right. You might be right. I know most polls goes around 8.
Yeah, 8 or 9. I don't necessarily remember, but either way, time is ticking away out here. And then, I mean, like you said, they literally already called California without even having reported a percent yet. So more to be seen, and
Yeah.
definitely more to be desired. But IDK, I don't know how to feel, and I don't know. It was so weird. I was hoping all day today that I wouldn't have any deja vu. And then I had my little deja vu moment from 2016 where I got on Twitter and it was just like I got this chill. Like I specifically remember doing this and being like, oh fuck, like let's just take in the doom and gloom. I don't know. It was a familiar feeling that I didn't like having feel so close.
Yeah,
So
it's funny that you say that because I literally had a similar reaction. Like especially when I first started to see the numbers, I was like, this feels real 2016 ish. You know
real
what I mean?
familiar.
Yeah, and like really, because what I feel like what we understand we have to prepare for is the black agents of white supremacy running amok.
Yeah.
That's what we now about to have to prepare for. The black agents of white supremacy running amok. Because this is
Wait. What do you envision? What do you mean by them running them up? What would that look like?
yeah, I mean, like for example, as DEI practitioners,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, more black people against DEI, the concept of it,
Yeah.
more black people that's willing to excuse racism or justify racism or be a race or be some type of apologist for racism. Like all of the like I feel like all of what everything that we would be able to say about our society progressing with things like the Me Too movement, with things like with how people responded to Black Lives Matter. All of that will be erased if Donald Trump wins. Like the idea, and even if we saying it's just a facade, like I'm cool with saying it's just a facade. I'm with that. Again, we black pessim or Afro pessimists, so
Yeah.
yeah, like we don't really believe in any of this shit. Anyway, it's really a question of making the circumstances more difficult.
Yeah.
And what our opposition is going to look like. And
I mean, and
in the
I
fight for
think pessimism is described as, dark and hard and direct, but it's not. It's heavy. I think being an Afro pessimist also, especially with the kind of way that our lives were in terms of, how invested we were in community, how much work we've done to learn about the system, about power structures, about advocacy, to discover that all that shit kind of means nothing. It was all for naught. Is also, encourages a spirit period of mourning. My hero was Martin Luther King, man. I wanted to dream, dog. Like, I wanted to see things and experience things and not have a cookie cutter, like surface level version of the diversity he talked about, but to really see and get and experience the best out of people, and to live in a society where, equality, rung out, that it was like actualized, that we lived it, that we were able to fry bigger fish by getting over some of the most basic, fundamental, rudimentary level shit that we're dealing with a reality of a Donald Trump world and of a conservative agenda. And so you mourn and you grieve the lack of the ability to actualize that in your adult life. You have a moment of sad reflection for mourning the society you wanted to give your kids. You mourn the inability to do anything about the future that you have, or the reality that you have for yourself. You lament the fact that there's not enough that you can do. There's not enough common sense. There's not enough people with the right intent to really align themselves enough to overthrow, or push an election over the line. Like that, those things are sad. And so it's not always, fuck everything. Yeah, no. And those are moments where you say those things and you represent those things and you ultimately understand that. But I think you're allowed to mourn and grieve just on a level of humanity. And it's humanity that was denied from Black people in particular, right? Through dehumanization, through chattel slavery, through the process of modernity, right? We got denied humanity. But like just on a human level, you know what I'm saying? But that's only from the perspective of whiteness and white supremacy. So like just on a basic fundamental level as humans, I desire a functional society. I desire, an environment where we can meaningfully engage and participate in ways that uplift each other and do healthy, productive things for the world writ large. Like I want that world in reality so bad. And it's always going to be something else to recognize that just ain't it. That this is not where we are.
And what I think is even more disheartening about the whole shit is we're gonna end up being right in the long run. Like I think what the whole Asian people suing, or not Asian people, but the advocacy group that sued to get rid of affirmative action, to then have their enrollment drop. That's literally what we gonna see moving forward, and being right in that instance ain't even a good thing because we all got to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the fact, and I felt like what baffled me the most, and really what gave me so much pause when it came to optimism, is that this entire election has been a lot about the economy. A lot of the conversation has been about the economy. Yeah. You have like all of these like accomplished Nobel Prize winning economists saying Donald Trump's policies will hurt Americans.
Mm-hmm.
These are Nobel Prize winning economists telling you Donald Trump's policies have not been beneficial to the U.S. economy. And you have poll after poll that's straight up saying most Americans think Donald Trump's policies have positively benefited the economy. It's like, when did there become such a gap between what's just flat out true, what's not, and then the side that we choose to pick? Like in the information age, at a time when we have more access to information now than any other time in history. If it's anything that I want a brief, like kind of small, quick understanding, elementary understanding of any concept that exists, I can research that, look it up, and have a baseline understanding of that concept.
Yeah, it's not rocket science.
But when it comes to politics, or when it comes to understanding what goes on in society,
Trump just jumped from 214 to 230. I don't know which state did that, but that's what happened.
They called North Carolina.
There
They called
is.
North Carolina.
I see it. No, 179, 130. Uh, I mean, interrupted. That seemed like a big leap.
Damn.
Yeah, shout
And
out to the
and
chat. Winter was good, Emmanuel. I'm glad this shit is finally over. Winter said disappointed in humanity, but trying to stay positive for sure. Um, Emmanuel said, I'm glad this shit is finally over. Disappointed though. J Universe said, all I know is I need Kamala to win. I did a large bet on her on Robinhood and I need my car paid off. I heard the hell out of that, but I don't know. Big dog, you might have to go continue making them payments, man. But yeah, just kind of an update coming off the pipeline real quick. Well, there
yeah,
is.
man.
Let me ask you this question from the perspective of political strategizing. Do you think the minuscule timetable of the campaign played into it? Do you feel like even if she had even more time, if they would have chose her out the gate, do you think that would have been a difference maker? Do you feel like one of the things that could be pointed to as a culprit for a lack of success has been her time to get introduced to the people and to make a big impact or influence? Or do you think this was always baked into the cake?
Yeah, nah. This was always baked into the cake. I mean, yeah, yeah. I feel like you know cruel optimism. You know what I mean? Like it was. I looked at this individual just like from the perspective of like somebody who pays attention and cares about these things and analyze. I looked at it and I told myself it's no way in hell this man has not became a better candidate since his last election. Like this is the same nigga who sparked the January 6th shit.
Yeah.
Like the same nigga that was
That
arguing
by
in front of the
itself.
Supreme Court, arguing in front of the Supreme Court for the ability to like for the president to be immune to any consequences. And it's like I'm baffled. Like I'm really like 2016. It was kind of like damn, it's messed up. 2020, Trump is worse.
Now we know. Like some people were curious. It can't be that bad. It won't be that bad. The three-party system, checks and balances, niggas will keep him in control. It's no big deal. That Supreme Court is cooked. Jesus Christ. Forgot all of, I don't know how I could forget, but I just thought about how he turned that whole irrelevant appendage of the government into one of the most talked about and discussed branches that we have out of the three. Motherfuckers for a long time was less concerned with things like executive authority and the decisions that the judicial branch makes and was locked in. I'm sorry, not the judicial, but the legislative branch, and was locked in on what the judicial branch was doing. That had never happened in the history of our society, right? Outside of Clarence Thomas and the scandal that existed. When nobody really looking at that shit with a fine tooth comb. We was trying to celebrate little moves and shifts toward diversity. They did their business and left the American people alone. And now, man, ooh, we. It's getting cold outside, y'all. So Kamala just jumped from 179 to 187.
187. Yeah, that ain't it though.
Mm-mm. Who would that be? I think that's New Mexico. No, maybe so. I think so. But yeah, California, Oregon, and Washington are all in 12-5. Yeah, it's cooked. Who left? Hawaii and Alaska is left.
Nevada.
But then ain't what? That's three from
Well, nah,
Alaska.
nah. We still got but she losing in Michigan, losing in Wisconsin. But that's only 66. So, and that's only 32% in Michigan. So she has. She down 7% in Michigan. Down 3% in Wisconsin. And she down 4% in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So that if any of them fold, it's done. Because Georgia's done. She down 3% in Georgia with 90% reported in.
Philly and Pittsburgh blew as shit. So
You said what?
I said Philly and Pittsburgh blew as shit. So as expected, they she won the city. She won the urban areas, but it definitely is not hitting for
Yeah, what's the percentage?
hit anywhere else.
Let's see. Uh, what percentage? Let's see.
Wicked.
They only got it's only 50% in though. So like Bucks
Of
County,
what?
like the heavily populated counties.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, it's only 55% in, 20% in. Allegheny she got. I remember Allegheny's big. Monroe she barely got. Lackawanna she got. And that's only so okay, Pennsylvania not lost. Pennsylvania not lost. That's only half the vote.
Gotcha. You
That's
know,
only half the
I'm gonna
vote.
I'm gonna try you when we get off of here.
Why you say that?
You say Pennsylvania funny,
How,
but I love you. You pronounce the
uh,
NIA that, which is very peculiar behavior to me.
I
What's
don't
the
know
name
how
of
do
that
you
state?
pronounce it. Pennsylvania.
You know how you pronounce it?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. It's an extra syllable in there that's not supposed to be there at the end, nigga. That place is called Pennsylvania. Just cut to the chase.
Yeah, nigga, you heard what I said. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Pennsylvania. Looking at
I'm just it tickles me every time. Ah,
uh, we need some tickling shit. God damn, but it's ah yo
it's hard.
like the
It's
the
hard.
dumbest people are going to be insufferable.
Yeah.
The dumbest people are going to be insufferable. We're about
And
to
it
have
makes
to
me,
deal with the emboldening of idiots, bro. Like this shit is.
it's kind of like stay with me here because I know you'll appreciate this as Chiefs fans. Every week, win, lose, or draw, we gotta hear fucking crying and whining and complaining. If we lose, we gotta hear motherfuckers talking shit all week. If we win, we gotta hear motherfuckers crying about how we cheated. But the pain only lasts for a few days, a week, before we get a new game, a new opportunity to brush off, get a new narrative on the situation. And I be hating
Yeah,
that week in between sometimes. This is similar, except for the shit gonna last for 4 years. There's no new Sunday, new Monday night, new Thursday game. You know what I'm saying? To wipe the slate clean, to get you off of what happened last week and then just move on. You just gotta sit with that L. You gotta hold the L for a long ass time, man. So
yeah.
that's where it gets a little goof.
And then, but
That's
then,
where
but then the thing about it is the people that's holding the L with you, they acting like they just won.
yeah.
They acting like
And
they
they
just won.
and my thing is the high road, the level of moral superiority that the motherfuckers who didn't vote or told niggas so or this and that, I'm also not interested in hearing from them either. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like you didn't participate, you have no agency or desire to participate in the world around you. Shit for damn sure ain't gonna get better without you having your voice heard. And you do participate in politics. So you like, I don't vote, I don't vote. As long as you pay taxes, as long as you buy gas, as long as you buy food and don't pay the menu price, you pay a little bit more than it. You participate, babes. You're in it, and you get shut down for your shit basically because you ain't even. It's like, did you pitch the bitch? Like without voting, you really ain't doing nothing but getting straight up shut down by the system that you are involuntarily voting in based on the republic that you decided to live in. So that's where it kind of like, you know what I'm saying? My resolve is in terms of where it gets kind of weird and why I don't want to hear from you because at least I, cashed in my little free ticket for the little bit of bullshit that I do get. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't care if the government send me a $500 check. I'm gonna take that shit down to the bank and cash it. You know what I mean? And that's what these ballots is in the grander scheme of what we're owed. These some old little pity pat monopoly money, but you be a fucking foodie, at least get that and at least not go cash that shit in, go flip it and get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and okay, you didn't vote for the presidential election. My sincere hope is the same ones beating their chest about not voting for a president at least opened up the ballot that they got in the mail and filled out the rest of them down ballots, races, or went to a polling place and at least did the rest of it, or you really just don't give a fuck about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, cool. You want to stand up to not voting in the presidential election? I can respect that, especially this one. I might even can stomach that. But if you so anti this that you didn't do nothing for your area where you live in today, you didn't do nothing to influence your community that you live in, that you actually take your kids to school in, that got different referendums and ballot. If you ain't do none of that, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. And yeah, Judah's Redemption said, damn, that map is Sue Wooing. And yes, it is. Man. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So like if we look at if we look at Georgia, for example, they probably gonna call this soon because this 90. We got Fulton County, that's 92% in, right? Like this where she really needed to. The numbers really needed to be up. But all the rest of this, Gwinnett County, she needed more than that. Mm-hmm. She needed, and listen, don't blame third parties neither. Jill Stein didn't do shit. Look, Jill Stein didn't do shit.
So far, she has 16,663 votes. Even Chase Oliver of the Libertarian Party has more votes than her, with 19,595. So the man I couldn't tell you nothing about, Chase Ballin. Actually, Robert Kennedy has more. I think I miscounted all of them. So let's go back. Jill Stein does have more ballots. She has 438,021 votes. Robert Kennedy has 427,928 votes. Chase Oliver has 420,743 votes. And then other candidates, miscellaneous, have 0.2% of the vote with 212,426 votes. My brain is clearly tired because I'm struggling with multi-digit numbers.
Yeah, they saying it's still 487,000 votes out there. Kamala is currently down by less than 100,000.
So yeah, that would be too close if y'all
or a little over 100,000 actually, a little over 100,000. So yeah, I mean, so that's still 91%. Like we got to start seeing an uptick, which and that's why a lot of people say we probably not gonna have results tonight. We're not gonna know. I mean, but shit, going based off of this. You
have a good idea, like 187. I mean, if Shorty don't even get over like 200, like that'll be OD. Like that'll be very OD. Ain't enough sleeping and waking up tomorrow in the world. It's gonna put that train back on the tracks. You feel me? So,
yeah, man. So Georgia, y'all came through in 2020. Look like 2024. Racist is back on track. The racist is back on track. Let's go take another look at Pennsylvania. 79% in. Donald Trump currently has about 100. About 150,000 vote lead. 51% to 47%.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's with the times.
Nevada, we still waiting on Nevada, but that's just 6 electoral votes. Very close, still very close in Arizona, but that's 11. I mean, so like she need where Kamala at?
She need what don't exist. She need what's not available.
Hold on. I think she won Connecticut, but I think this is interesting. This is interesting.
Got another. Did it 192? Was she at 192? Where was she just at?
Nah, if she had 192 now,
she at 192 now. Yeah.
I mean, she playing catch up, but they calling Georgia soon. But I want us to take a look at this article real quick though. Let me clean this up. So we can look at the exit polls amongst black men, so we can see If all that bullshit they was talking, NBC exit polls, Trump fails to gain ground among black men. He got 20% though. His support black men this year is almost identical to his support in 2020.
Hmm.
So I mean, he got 20%.
So
But
loud.
again though, getting 1% from 2020 to 2024, it ain't our fault. Do not blame niggas. Do
I
not
mean,
blame niggas.
again, I will say, do not blame niggas, but niggas got the attention they asked for. If you're not familiar with my take on that, make sure y'all go follow the last episode of the
Still,
channel.
hey, niggas is still vindicated though.
For now,
Niggas are still vindicated.
I love my niggas. I love that y'all did as right by us as you did before. Thank you. This is pretty much what can be said about that. And I'll
Yeah,
take it.
that's about it. That's about it. It's I mean, but shit, it's bittersweet. Don't make a difference. Like, really, I hope now we get off this whole, the black vote kick. No. No. There are much more powerful groups that if like they don't care, they do not care what black people own.
Yeah.
They do not care what niggas, and that's why Republicans do not they don't care about black issues because it's not gonna move the needle for them.
That's
And
fair.
especially
It's
and
not-
nowadays, all you got to do is just say fuck Democrats, and you can get 20% of niggas. Less
for
work.
sure.
Oh boy, yeah. We going backwards, people. We're going backwards.
I don't think. I mean, it depends on your perception of backwards, right? A lot of people feel like this direction is the right direction. I don't know. I just don't talk to these people. I think I keep coming back to I don't know, and I probably if I went back to listen to this would be crazy to count how many times I've even said it. But it's just because I don't talk to these people. Like it's so difficult to understand, and it was difficult during the first election cycle to understand how captivating he can truly be when you don't interact with any of those people on a day-to-day basis. Like I live in Orange County, California. Everybody holler about how conservative Orange County, Orange County, Orange County. I see probably the same amount of Trump signage that anybody who lives anywhere else will see, unless you live deep in the hood, right? Like I don't live in a phenomenal neighborhood, but I don't live in a really terrible neighborhood. It's a combination. It's not real it's not real crime, but it's some drug use, which means there's some crime around here. But I know people be on that stuff in my community. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the major issues that's around here in homelessness. I say all this to say, in terms of like the socioeconomic makeup, in terms of the racial makeup, is very diverse. It's a whole lot of different people with a whole lot of different perspectives. But I see a little bit of Trump insignia every now and again. Nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? I see a yard with a sign. I think I've seen a Trump flag that's down the street from the crib. But besides that, it's just not like that down here. You know what I'm saying? Like now, if you go to Huntington Beach, which is constantly on the news for their OD Trumpism, constantly, but that's
Trump won North Carolina.
It's good. It's good. It is cooked. But yeah,
now all he need now is 16 to have him at.
Well,
so if he gets Georgia, he get 246. He'll be at 246, and then if you get Pennsylvania, that's 19. That's
246. Yeah,
plus 19.
That's that. It's wild, man. That's 265, but close enough.
Well, he's gonna get Wisconsin. Well, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, hold on.
What's going on, man?
Minnesota just flipped. Kamala's up Minnesota by. By like.
Damn, so Walls wasn't winning Minnesota?
Yeah, he wasn't. Right. It's 0.2% in Arizona, with 50% reporting in 0.2%. So yeah, Kamala got she had if Pennsylvania. I mean, everybody been saying if Pennsylvania go, it's a wrap. Because Georgia's probably a rap. I mean, I don't know. Georgia's probably. I want to say Georgia's a rap.
I mean, I think let Georgia be. I think we got to let Georgia be because you telling me she down by what a little over 100,000 votes, but it's still 400,000 plus votes. Like, hold on. Like, take a moment of pause and let's just figure out maybe if this is going to be an in the morning issue. I don't think Georgia is too. It's too thin. It's too narrow to just kind of scoff at. You know.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah, so at 192.
Melodious said, I knew shit was bad. Melodious in the comments said, I knew shit was bad when I woke up to a message from my boss who gave me the day off in France. Why are they like this? People are shook. Like, even tomorrow, like, I don't know, because I don't want to, and this is something that I think I'm thinking about, and I don't want to overthink for the people around me, because, again, we're not having these conversations, but who knows what other conversations we're not having. As a Black woman who's in education, I was like, how will I feel tomorrow? How will my students potentially feel tomorrow? Is it simple-minded, basic, too sensitive to lean into those changes? Should I go as far as canceling things or moving things around or, given like I really do have those questions because I don't want people to look at me and be like, I don't really give a fuck, but be like, man, this Black sensitive ass queer woman, you know what I'm saying, and her feelings about this fucking election. Anybody worried about that shit, bitch, move on. It is what it is. But the other side of it is that I do want to leave a moment, space, place, opportunity for, like, we live in Southern California. My students are DACA students. You know what I'm saying? My students deal with immigration and undocumentation issues on a daily basis. That is their real ass lives. I work at a 4-year university and I work at a community college. It don't fucking matter. All of them is fighting for their lives, just trying to get some piece of paper so they can get some piece of paper. You see what I'm saying? And so when I look at their realities or their family's realities, I literally have a team of debaters where one of the brothers is documented and his little brother, born a couple years after him, is not. And so one little brother gets to go home and take trips and vacations. The other brother hasn't been home since he was a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I talk to them about their experiences, about what they think, about what they feel, about how this shit plays out, like, it's just like, bruh, I want to leave space for those people. You know what I'm saying? I want to, like, not bother those people because I don't know how they feel, but at the same time, I don't want to be perceived as this over hypersensitive person, especially when I very much do identify myself. Like I said, it's still hard, but as an Afro pessimist, somebody who's divested from the machinations of it, but from the outside looking in, just wish it was such a better product. So, I don't know. I think what I desire from this is what I desire from Black organizing, Black mobility, right? The opportunity to be a part of a network, not even that it doesn't exist, but I lament the fact that I'm not in a place where I'm a part of a network of people who are turning it. We're like, oh man, really? No, seriously, fuck that shit. Here's what we on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just kind of got to will myself through this alone. Well, not really alone. Shout out to Top Nation. I'm with y'all, but y'all know what I mean. Like, eventually we're going to cut this YouTube off and I'm going to just be sitting in my crib. Like, where the fuck am I? Bro. Where am I? Like, I don't know.
Quick update, 205 to 230. 205 to 230.
What numbers is in? What state?
That's what I'm trying to see. What did she just get? They ain't showing me what she just got yet.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I think maybe New Mexico all the way.
So they just called it?
I feel like.
Was it New Mexico?
I could be wrong, but I'm just kind of. I feel like that when I looked at my map last, that was the last one that was like not changed, not fully blue. It was like a lighter shade or that little dark blue, but not like the one. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Son of Lucia says, "Yo, Damo, what's up?" After seeing the Democrats getting their ass washed, I remember this dude, Damo. What a cry!
Yeah, it's a weird islander nigga.
Oh, okay, depression look on their face.
I don't even like these
interesting emojis.
Yeah,
he was like, yeah. Well, it doesn't matter because now I can't even see the bugs anymore. Yeah. But yeah, we ain't trolling, man. We're having real life conversations tonight.
Go do that shit somewhere else. No, do that shit. Okay, 205. We at 205.
You got your phone?
Do I have? I don't have my phone actually.
Our executive
Uh,
producer.
we got the private chat though.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that's what like yeah, like think about what's happening though. You got trolls that's coming to troll niggas on the behalf of white people, of racist white men.
Yeah.
Niggas is showing up in black spaces to cheerlead in front of black people. Like nobody else recognizes just like the backwards act. And these is people who claim to care about racism and fixing the black community and all this other shit. But you really celebrating, you cheerleading, pom pomming, pole jocking for a racist white man.
Emmanuel said Damo got stalkers. That's what I be saying. I don't bring people over here that be hectic and chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Anybody come with me, come in peace. Shout out to Nina. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to who else? Cash Money.
It's because I've been on these platforms cooking these niggas. And this is the thing, because this show how stupid that nigga is. Because I'm not even a pro-Democrat nigga. When niggas talk about like when I talk about my politics are black. They're not Democrat or Republican. I talk about elections in the context of mitigating circumstances. Mitigating the circumstances for black people. Kamala Harris, I never claimed that Kamala Harris was our savior. But Donald Trump is going to be a worse president. And all I'm going to do is sit back and actually, I'm really just going to sit back and just show y'all how terrible of a president he is. So it ain't going to be, I'm not going to allow niggas to lie to themselves and be like, look, I'm making more money. I'm going to prove to you that you're not. Mm-hmm. And any money that you are making ain't got nothing to do with Donald. You making it despite Donald Trump, not because of Donald Trump. Wait till them tariffs drop.
About what you was able to, man, what you was able to do. Like, because everything you pay for is about to be more expensive.
Everything work. Niggas have no idea how tariffs work. No idea.
He don't know, and he was able to trick you because your ass don't know. And the reason why you don't know is that you was on your phone or asleep or vibing or trying to fucking shoot your shot at somebody in 10th grade, goddamn history class or social studies when we learned about that shit. And now you got to get control of your situation.
Bro, everything niggas complained about under Joe Biden is about to happen under Donald Trump, and I'm not gonna let niggas forget this shit.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm telling you. I mean, the race isn't technically over. I mean, when they call Georgia, it's gonna be close, cause that's gonna have them at 246, and it's still a 3-point gap. It's still a little over 100,000. About 130,000 votes. That she behind on what?
Where am I at? Oh, never mind. Yeah, the internet was just being weird. I promise you. I was clicking stuff and went back and my shit said 187 for a second. I was like, y'all did not. You can't do Texas backsies during the presidential election, but it went back up to 205. We're good. We're good. Check that chat one time for the one time.
Yeah, Emmanuel just said I'm a roast marshmallows at the Trump presidency dumpster fire. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a whole ass cookout. I'm telling you, I always said though, what disturbed me the most about a potential Trump presidency is what this means for the psyche of people. Like, what is now? What is the Overton window now?
Come on.
And it ain't even like it's shifted for black people. Really, this is the greatest display of white privilege in this society. And coming from niggas that claim to care about black communities to... Like, yeah, it's that's why they always say, like, the end of a civilization, it doesn't happen immediately.
Yeah.
Right? It slowly deteriorates. The standards slowly deteriorate. You feel me? Slowly.
And that's what somebody said. I think I was watching something and I have to go back. Shout out to Andre Rose, who's one of our listeners who also be sending stuff to the chat and just chat or to my DM on IG and just be kind of engaging every now and again. He sent me a podcast and I just didn't have time enough to watch it because it's like 2 hours long of these three black men talking politics. And it was so interesting because I watched like 15 minutes of it and still were very unclear They were saying a lot of things, was still very unclear about what side of this issue they were following on, and they were working up to getting there. But I say all that to say, um, shit, I forgot why I was saying that shit. What were you saying right before I started talking about that shit?
She had won Virginia. That's the one she had picked up.
Got you. What were you
Yeah.
saying right before I started talking about the message Dre sent? Oh,
Oh.
just the psyche of black people. One of the things they talked about was how, and things happening so slowly. They talked about like the ruins of Rome. You know what I'm saying? And how people kind of scoffed at it, but like how much time it took to recover the ability to build a civilized society that had not only the lessons that were learned from that, but also adapted new ways and approaches to governance, to city organizing, to like developing infrastructure, like all of that shit. Like it ain't easy. What he basically was getting to is once shit is undone, it ain't easy just to put it back. It ain't easy just to, we saw that when we seen Obama era, improvements that got stripped away immediately by Trump, and that it's undoing or still having reverberations, right? And so one of the things he talked about was just how much for granted we take how serious it is when you have somebody willing to deteriorate and erode what has been put in place, because it's not just like, oh, so we'll vote somebody and they'll put it back. It don't matter. You can vote Kamala back in today. Roe versus Wade ain't gonna be back in rotation. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of incremental steps to put shit back how it was the same way. And I mean, it's the same way with gaining weight and losing weight. It takes 2 seconds to gain the weight. Depending on your body type. I know it's some slender people out there like, I wish it was that easy. But for people who you don't have those complications, you know better than anybody. It takes you 2 seconds to gain the weight and a lifetime to lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? It'll take you, and maybe in reverse, but so much time to build these things that in a blink of an eye, voting for the wrong person seems to supplant and completely take away the ability, the validity, the captivity, the captivating nature of some of the things that we put into place before. So it's rough. It's weird. Happens very quickly. Slow in some ways, quick in other ways, and not the way you would like it to be.
Yeah, man.
So, I don't know. I won't pretend to have a pity party, like I said, because I'm very muchly invested in moving through, the parts of life and society that I can control and controlling what I can control, but that don't mean it got to feel good. Melodia said the presidency is a big deal, but what is the House and Senate looking like? Absolutely, because we're fast approaching a worst case scenario, Republican president, Supreme Court, and Congress. And that's really what, it's kind of scary. Now, I will say, I feel like, and I don't know these women's names, so shame on me, but I want to say there were 2 black women, maybe even a third, but I want to say
also
2 for sure.
One. Also Brooke one. That was one of the black women.
Okay. I didn't. Okay. Yeah. So another 2 black women, one in Maryland, I believe, and one someplace else, are in the Senate now. We know Jasmine Crockett got her seat back and won handily in Texas, so she is, killing it on the representative side.
Colin Allred lost though. Colin Allred lost to Ted Cruz in Texas.
We hate to see
it. Hate to see
that shit. Wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene?
She in a safe seat though. She in a small, rural, conservative. Marjorie Taylor Greene and people like Lauren Boebert, they in places where they politicians like that type of, like they are constituents like the type of shit they be on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it's not looking good for the Senate though. Senator John Tester was in even more trouble than Senator Sherrod Brown. Most senators believe that Brown had a better chance of getting reelected than Tester. So if Tester goes the way of Brown, that would absolutely guarantee Democrats lose the control of the Senate. The remaining hope is that Nebraska sends an independent to the Senate who would then vote for Democrats and organize in the Senate, which would get them to 50. But this does now look like the Senate is probably going to be in Republican control. And what's like, I feel like what's even more like depressing about this whole shit is that Republicans for the last 2 years have been wholly fucking effective.
Yeah.
They have been trash, complete ass. The whole impeaching Joe Biden was a huge failure. They just had to have multiple votes, the most in history, to elect the Speaker of the House. Then they turn around and then kick that speaker out. The speaker that took forever, they end up kicking him out. So
after they've had to vote a bajillion times to get him in there in the first place, like they didn't even want him, got him in there, did all that work to get him in there just to be like, nah, we good.
It's like, yo, I mean, yeah, we can talk about how bad Democrats are, but God, like they are not this bad. They aren't this bad. Democrats have their issues, yes. And in a lot of ways, they align with a lot of shit Republicans do too, yes. But like, I mean, this shit is like it's really baffling. I mean, it's not. I think we like to assume that as you know societies move forward, they progress. I think we starting to like our society is starting to hit the wall. We've hit like Donald Trump is a representation of we've hit the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid people run shit now. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Stupid people run shit now. Like that's really what it is. Like being loud and ignorant, being bigoted, you know what I'm saying, being prejudiced, being rude, being hateful, like that those types of characteristics now like people feel like it's better than expertise, it's better than research, it's better than study. Nah, being a dickhead.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what kind of who has said that? Somebody said when we were asking the question like, what is the captivation of Donald Trump? Like, why are you really getting it in? Emmanuel was like, it's a cult of personality, and that's really what it is. There's an affinity for just celebrity worship, personality worship, and like not even celebrity in like the sense that we watch them on movies, television, media, or whatever, or that type of media, but like these people are celebrities. Social media like edifies individuals and makes them more public and visible than they've ever been before. A lot of times before I would hear names in politics, just kind of being the political nerd that I am, caring about what's happening in society and what's happening in politics, I would catch names and not really completely know what they look like. Kind of need to go piece together some things. Maybe I'm seeing them on the news a little bit, but like, okay, that person looks. Now it's just like we're constantly inundated with these images, with representations of these people, with them having their 15 minutes of fame, with them kind of being in our face, and so we get to know them way more than we should. You know what I'm saying? We get to. I'm annoyed and frustrated with your personality as much as I am your beliefs and your politics, and that's what grinds my gear. Because as much as I hate some shit, it's some people who eat it up. When we ask our question, how do they follow it? They want somebody who is like fucking dumb and airheaded and just generally problematic, like a Lauren Boebert, right? I love it. I'm into it because she does the thing. And instead, we have a whole bunch of incompetencies because you've latched on to these personality traits that you enjoy, and not ever really dealing with the minutiae, the internals of what she's into outside of your own limited frame of reference and dumbass desirabilities that she's willing to stroke your ego for and give you. So it's rough. Emmanuel says, or Melodia says first, Christian conservatives about to go crazy. Don't get me started, because I mean, from a religious perspective, I'm just so disgusted with the church. And then Emmanuel Briggs says, I'm curious to see what the numbers are in terms of how many of us voted for Trump. And so when you say how many of us, I know Plug just talked about Black men and the exit polls for their participation. Whom are the other us's that you are curious about? Black people in general. Like I would assume kind of that's the us. But I am interested in what the numbers for Black women look like. I am interested in if young people decided to participate in this or not. So like I teach in the classroom, right? I teach college, as I mentioned before. And so today I made sure to let my students know, I don't know if you all have decided to vote, but in case you decide at the last minute to go ahead and jump in here, you live in a state where you can register to vote and vote on the same day. So if you should decide to do that, you know what I'm saying, get in where you fit in and decide to vote. And a lot of them was just like, no, sis. Like, it's just like, this is not the one for me. I'm not even really bugging and tripping. And I'm like, but this is y'all's Barack. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is an interesting opportunity. And they're like, we don't see that. Like, we don't see that shit like that at all. Like, this shit is murky. It's ugly. It's, disinteresting. It is a whole bunch of political theater we don't want no parts of. And I guess that's the conscious of, based on historically voting habits and young people, young voter turnout. Like, that's kind of always been the vibe. But it seems like the stakes are higher. And they're just like, yeah, we don't give a fuck. I'm just like, how are you missing out on this? I could have been like maybe cool on, who was it? Al Gore and George Bush. Like, I could have been of age to vote and been like, yeah, I'll catch the next one. But how are you missing these elections? You know what I'm saying? It's hard to figure that out and wrap my mind around it. But they are just being like, So when we talk about like who showed up and how they showed up for Trump and who was president, not president at all, Mayo clarifies Black folks in general. Like Me too, because black people in general have had me concerned as well. But I want to know, like I said, those black numbers. I want to know about black women. I want to know about youth voters. I want to know about the whole shebang. I want to know about the whole kit and caboodle. Still sitting at 205 to 230.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Kamala's because like California's at like 46%. Yeah, if she lose the popular vote, that's saying something. If she lose the popular vote, that's saying something. Do I think she'll lose the popular vote? Nah, because it's still a lot of these states that's called, they still counting ballots. It's just you know what I mean. So I don't think Hillary got washed in the electoral college, like what's happening right now, and she won the popular vote in the end. So I think you said what?
Nothing.
Nah, what was you about to say though?
What the fucking electoral college is just so pointless in 2024 when media and the ability to be connected with my candidates in so many different ways is different. We just don't need a fucking electoral college. And that, like, I get, like, before when it was like it levels the playing field so that politicians don't just go visit, major metropolitan areas, urban areas, and forget about the rural areas. Baby, they making their way out to y'all. It's easier for them to get to you now with science, with technology, with transportation infrastructure. It's a whole lot easier for people campaigning to get into the nooks and crannies where rural people are at, where we just can't seem to connect with them. So we have to make sure that we give states a certain amount of votes to make sure their voices are respected and reflected. We don't have those same barriers anymore. You want to talk about rural voters not having the same exposure to the media and to debates and now we got internet and social media and TikTok and every video and YouTube and broadband in a lot of homes. And I don't want to be flippant about the development in rural communities because I know for a fact there's a lot of them still way far back than you would ever assume. There's still a lot of rural communities that don't have reliable broadband. Like I'm well aware of that, but there has been progress. Goddamn, you're not going to tell me ain't nothing changed, so much so that we have to leave this role, this big important job, to elected bodies to represent our collective ballots as opposed to me just being able to speak for myself. That's the type of shit where I entertain somebody being like, I'm not voting because that shit is done. If you tell me the electoral college is bankrupt, I might have to sit and stew with what you're saying for a while because we've just seen too many times popular votes be supplanted by electoral votes and bullshit be afoot because of it. And so, like, I'm sympathetic to that.
No, here's the thing though. I think that
209, 230.
Yeah, she just got Hawaii. Kamala just got Hawaii. Here's the thing. When it comes to the electoral college, what we're seeing is that our politicians are complete failures. Straight up. Because the purpose of the electoral college is to avoid populism. But if all of if our politics are now situated around populism, that means that the representatives that are supposed to be above the populist bullshit, because that's really the purpose of it was to avoid like a direct democracy where the most popular person won. That's why polling is such a counterproductive practice, because the idea is supposed to be situated around like one, people shouldn't know who you vote for. People they shouldn't be able to say this many people voted Republican. This people the only reason they can is because we say it. That makes it that's why they focus their messages to particular groups, not to actually fixing certain things, because they already know if you call yourself a Democrat, I got you. If you call yourself a Republican, I got you. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to do anything different. And you've already said that because we both in this gang, you gonna vote for me, cool. So as long as I say the things that you like, I'm good. I don't have to produce the results, and that's true across the board. Why do we only be like that? Something like, oh, that's why we need to get off the Democrat plantation. Politicians have been they've had a 80-something%. The Congress has had an 80-something% disapproval rate since 2008, 2007. You know what I mean? So the electoral college, its purpose has been perverted by the people who are supposed to maintain it. Yeah. Because they would rather do the things that Donald Trump does, act like Donald Trump, support Donald Trump, because we all Republicans. Not that me as a leader in Illinois, or you as a leader in Missouri, or you know what I'm saying? It's not, because we all attached to this national name. Like, we gotta all reflect the same bullshit in order to get votes. That's what the
Yeah.
greatest failure is. Like, I put more of the onus on American citizens. This is why I be talking about I don't like people no way, because I think most of this shit, I think most of the people who get attacked get caught up in these conversations, get caught up in that herd mentality. And the
Mm.
problem is that there is a right and wrong answer. One group is worse. But because we all kind of act as if it's this mutual thing, like, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
both sides, that we get that we lose like the plot. Kamala haters lost the plot. People that was focused on Kamala being black lost the plot.
Yeah.
People that was focused on Palestine lost the plot.
Mm.
Because all of this is like the Palestinian activist that was super anti-Kamala, that's going to brag about Kamala losing. Y'all going to end up just like the Asian students that sued Harvard.
Mm.
You're going to end up SOL.
Yeah.
It's a reason why Benjamin Netanyahu wanted Donald Trump to win the election. Not because he was going to advocate for a ceasefire.
The enemy of your enemy is not always your friend. Desmond Gamble says winner take all for the electoral college is bad, but if it was divided up by the popular, it would work and everyone would be represented. And that's definitely the vibes that I own. S. Patel said the Senate already sold. I'm worried about the House race with the court too. There are truly no breaks. Quick acceleration is the Project 2025 playbook, right? Quick enough, so fast it'll make your head spin. You know what I'm saying? Is really what we are in store for, because, and that's what I really feel like. I feel like the victory lap is gonna be so deep, so malicious. I'm not gonna waste no time just really kind of showing that it was not a game. Foot to ass. You know what I'm saying? If he able to pull this out. And I think that's what's the most troubling. Is I'm very curious. Like, I sit and I think, as we look at the map, we grew up in Missouri and Kansas, right? Went to college in Kansas. You went to college in Oklahoma, another conservative state. Then I, grew and went to North Carolina and spent some time out there. And then eventually we finally found ourselves, after living in these super conservative states, in this super liberal ass state. And part of me wants to find solace in the fact that, like, I don't know that my life was just so net worth living in Missouri, Kansas, and North Carolina, before I moved to a blue state. But the hands that are on, the reins this time are so different, right? That I really am kind of concerned about that. This does consider a world where I was living in, under a Barack Obama presidency, all through college and grad school. I moved to North Carolina, still Barack Obama, lived in Kansas for a while, still Barack Obama, and then moved out here. And that was when we started to see some Trump time. So I spent all my Trump life in a liberal state. Yeah, I mean, so, like, I don't know. Part of me is like, personally, I don't know what I necessarily have to be concerned about, or if I should be overwhelmingly concerned, or, if my day-to-day, the texture of my life will change, but I just know it didn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? And I am concerned when you start to say that Senate races are being lost, when we can already look at, and I talked about earlier, the Supreme Court and all the direction that it's already in. Like, it's disorienting to try to imagine what your future will look like in terms of your real ass life, your real ass day-to-day existence, seeing things crumble and deteriorate in the ways that they are, and knowing that if he wins, it's only going to accelerate and happen even faster.
Yeah,
that's what I'm struggling with.
And what I can easily say is disheartening about the whole shit is that the frustration that people like myself have with Trump winning is gonna be couched in this, oh, you mad because Kamala lost. It's like, no.
Yeah.
You don't understand his policies. You don't understand his impact. Like, you don't understand the impact of the individuals that he is about to put in power. Even like fuck him. Like,
and the
niggas,
people who fight and give him the permission to do what the fuck he wants to and look away like they've been doing.
Yeah, cause when he sit there and lies to people's face and say he knows nothing about Project 2025, he's gonna get up there and start pushing Project 2025 policies. You're gonna see Project 2025 people in his cabinet. After he just told you he don't, huh?
She had 210. I don't know where the one vote came from. Did it come from Alaska or something? That's 3. How did she get one more vote?
Huh. That is
Who has
interesting.
one? And I
Like,
told didn't mean to cut you. I just saw the number change.
no, you good, you good. Cause actually, so to really, I want to I want to show y'all what I mean by like what actually matters. Like not like it's like shit like this. Donald Trump's tax cuts is going to exacerbate inequality. And he's going to cut taxes even more for rich people. While implementing tariffs that are going to negatively like because I just want to show this part right here. This was back in 20 this was released in 2018. So starting next year, so in 2019, started in 2019, every income group will see their average tax rates drop. But rates for the super wealthy, those earning more than 200,000 a year, will decrease between 2.1 and 3.1% of their income, compared to 0.5% for those earning less than 300,000, according to the Joint Committee of Taxation. For later years, the disparities only become greater.
Mm-hmm.
So over these last, from 2019 to next year, 2025, many Americans earning less than 30,000 will see their tax increase until their effective rates are higher. So that means right now, people making less than $30,000 are paying more in taxes than people that make over $300,000.
It's just unattainable. And y'all want to holler about how cool it is. I love the best jokes and the best memes and stuff like that come out during tax season, and that shit can be over. You're not getting no bread back. You finna owe. We finna owe. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't none of that. We finna pay more taxes in real time on a day-to-day things that we consume, and we're about to pay more taxes when it comes to the things that we end up owing this government when it's all said and done. You thought it was bad now, and y'all was hollering and complaining about Joe Biden and how fucked up the economy, this, that, and the other, not recognizing that those were ripples that you were experiencing from the prior Trump presidency. Let's speed it up. Let's play the game some more. That's literally what we headed face first into. Check the chat real quick, plug. Let me know.
Nah, Emmanuel just said I'm in California. We probably gonna have to secede, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I'm trying to.
What California is what the fifth most successful economy in the world. I think we can have something to say. I think we can keep up. I think we might be able to survive out there.
Yeah. I want to zoom into this.
Did you check the video chat? Was what I was talking about.
Oh, let me do it. Let me check it.
It's looking like no, but put that out there for free.
Where do I go to find the chat?
the bottom chat box at the bottom of the screen on the left.
Oh, dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So this is where it stands. It's gonna be a minute before we get a bit more information. They're gonna be counting votes all night. We know it's midnight over on the West Coast. Just a little past 9 out here on the East Coast. A little past 9 out here on the West Coast. So it's not looking good. I'll say that. I will say that.
That's the ultimate takeaway that I have is that not looking so great.
Yeah. We could definitely wake up tomorrow and be preparing for a Trump presidency. But last time this happened, Donald Trump declared victory because I don't know if he had a lead like this, but he had a lead and he declared victory, and we woke up and Joe Biden had won.
Mm-hmm.
So we can only hope for that type of miracle. But listen, I'll say this, and I'll let you close it out, Toya.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with all the smoke. Yeah, Kamala lost, but that put all you fake fan, pole jocking Trump supporters, Y'all now got to stand on business. Y'all now got to stand on business. Y'all said Trump was better in all these aspects. Clearly, all these people somehow believe that Donald Trump was better in all these aspects. Now you got to show it.
Yeah, when we ask you what gives, make sure you got a good answer, man.
Go ahead, Toya.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say the one thing I probably said the most this show that I don't think I've said as many times before. I don't know. My head hurt a little bit. I am slightly concerned. A lot of people that I care about will be impacted by the decisions from this election. I try to remove myself from thinking that it'll influence my real life, and all I can hope is that it doesn't. We are gonna find a time, perhaps toward the weekend, our typical Thursday, maybe a Friday, maybe a Saturday, tap in. Just kind of talk about how things have come to be, how things have marinated, how y'all have been feeling in your real lives, the conversations in your circles and amongst you and yours. And so please bring us back some juicy feedback. Be ready to type for us. Get your hands, do your exercises ready so you can jump in that chat and be a part of the discussion when we talk about, the world post-election. What do we think? What do we do? How do we move forward? What the tea is? Because I don't know. And I'm only able to feel it out and figure it out through y'all, with conversations with y'all, with conversations with the plug. So,
hey, listen, real quick before we go to you, because
and I said one more thing I need to say before we get off too.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish up.
Well, no, it's completely separate from this whole conversation.
Oh, you see what I put on the screen?
No, I'll check it out. Go ahead though.
White women went all in on Trump.
Oh yeah, I see.
In the swing states, white women were the only women who favored Trump over Harris. Yeah.
Failed us again.
Yeah. Failed themselves. This is after he was been found liable of sexual assault. This is after that. So the first time they elected him after he said that he's willing to do that. Now they elected him after he was found liable of actually doing it. Yeah, we're gonna have a word. We're gonna have a word for white women. We're gonna have a word for white women.
People missed, and I think we'll say this and literally go, so that we can have the capacity to pay attention to what's going on around us, and also to come back again a little bit later. But I gotta say, rest in peace to my dog Donnell. Passed away last week.
Yes.
And I've been reeling from it. If y'all are a part of Chop Nation and y'all have been in here having conversations with us like you normally do, you probably have seen Donnell drop a comment, give some meaningful reflection, say something that matters to the conversation and contribute in a beautiful way. And so it hurt my heart because we had built a relationship, on IG, keeping up with each other. Happy birthday here. I like your picture there. And then one day I looked up and his people had posted that he had passed away. So I want to give some specific Chop Nation family member. I'm a car gang, my friend, because who else who you connect with on a regular basis, stay up with, y'all share pursuit, that's your friend. You know what I'm saying? So I want to commemorate his life and really celebrate him on the Chop Up Show because having him in the chat meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of love for y'all. I'm grateful for y'all. It makes me even more appreciative of the fact that y'all pull up and talk to us. Y'all see this stuff pop up and y'all jump in here and don't just jump in here and sit. Y'all tap back in with us. And I don't take that for granted. I don't take it lightly. We celebrate each other. We love each other. And for that, I'm grateful. So RIP to Donnell. Thank y'all so much for staying tapped in. Anana Moose, Emmanuel, of course, J Universe, Melodious, who is this? Desmond, S. Patel, everybody. Winter, I know we had Hood in here. We had Tyler in here. Just the family, just kicking back and talking about real life. So thank y'all. If I sound a little bit more somber, it's because I am, and it's because it's crazy to miss somebody you never really met, but I miss my dog. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace, Donnell. Big love to y'all. And Plug, you can take us out when it's time to go, man. That's all I got.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So with that being said, man, y'all stay up.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Protect your mental. As Melodious said, protect your mind, protect your heart.
Right. All of that. And we'll see y'all Thursday. It's the Chop Up. We out.